chat. Well, today we're gonna be watching the new FNCS. See, I'll show you the map so you can watch it, and you don't have to do it from Twitch. What you can do is type in this map code. See, it's not because I'm not allowed to get it. Like, maybe if you're not allowed to get it or some personal reasons, you're not supposed to get Twitch. And this is a much easier way than I wouldn't risk. I don't want to waste all this time, but you could just do it through Fortnite. So there's no reason to do it, but you have Fortnite. Yeah. No, don't put it there. I'm trying to memorize the code. Dang. I'm trying to memorize it. I think it was something about this. I think it was something like this. Yup. God. Public. And it might look like that, but it's really not supposed to look like that. I'm not. I had to go on YouTube and look at it because I just forgot. I just really forgot. And yeah. Hey chat, comment if you guys want some V-Bucks. Hey chat, comment if you guys want some V-Bucks. Hey chat, I will be right back. Okay, we are here. That's what I'm eating, chat. I'm eating ice cream now. I told you guys, chat.
Before you find anybody. Well, listen, talking about exchanges happening, the feed is already lighting up your sear, which means over down where punishment was. The exchange is happening there. Here at the Mega City, it's Action City. But let's jump on into it. This boy has to step up right now. What is this going to be able to do? He's going to pull his teammate back, try to play for the res up here. And look, it looks like Punisher and
chat, grab some snacks, grab whatever you can. Lay back,
and you can see Zyro's trying to use that as a blessing. As soon as Punisher and Costa hopefully come in, that could be a way to try to get that reboot card on up, but he's just trying to clear the distance between him and everybody else. Try to loot up as much as possible because they know his hands are going to be full no matter what decision he makes here. And that's where Punisher and Costa, they have a little bit of a different outlook on this fight. They got looted up, they got the mobility, so it's theirs for the taking. Well, every ounce counts here. Dizboy steps up to the plate, finds the finish
nice
there.
Shot.
It's going to be a big point swing for him to go ahead with the pickup as well. So they're very much right back into the game, probably with a small material advantage with the shots coming in. We're going to start to chomp away at that. Punisher, Costa, I mean, listen, they have the high ground, right? They're vibing out right now, but they give it up to go ahead and push this duo. You can see Almedi, the switch up of the kinetic blades, just trying to get that one extra charge. Punisher from the side, just trying to put that pressure on from another angle. Meanwhile, Costa, you can see him crouching, trying to hide any bit of audio, any bit of direction in which he's coming from. But a fight this close, box to box, this is where you can see Noodle towards the bottom, has it in his hands. Punisher with the trade shots, but it's only a 1-for-1. Well, Punisher has years and years of course, I was going to say experience before I can even finish the sentence. Costa's there to match it and back it, and now they get the full pickup there. Remember, these eliminations here are worth so much. That's going to be a ton of points to going to kick it off. Contested drop, man, that's the pressure on the shoulders there, but wait for them to put up. For my U here in Crackley, listen, Crackley's been around the block, right? Competing in all types of zero build competitions, slides into, of course, the FNCS this weekend, finds himself in Surge Week. Wait for him to continue to step up here. Love the loadout. This is probably the most, air quotes,
Chat,
right?
Chat, I didn't have stick shift.
He said, hey, we might play for consistency. The first 3, game 4 is where we're going to seal the deal. But a team I did not expect them to be in Surge Week. Scope and Mason, they've been performing progressively better and better each and every time they enter into these FNCS playlists. But I think this could be the moment for them, especially with the back up against the wall. But as we tune in, and Day and Shore, they heard a lot of the fights going down very, very early on, and they're trying to sneak and take advantage of any surprise on a Punisher or Costa.
Well, Punisher and Costa did a good job eliminating Diz Boy and his teammate there pretty quickly, but Day and Shore, a much different caliber of duo here. They're lurking. They might just get the drop on it first. Shore's going to come in directly head on. Day tries to slide around the side, and yes, he's already looking to cut off this opponent. Costa there in the distance. There's ODM here to play with, but now he's like comfortable with the kinetic blade there. You can see the tags though. Punisher's pretty hurt.
Yep.
This is definitely
team that might be having a little bit of struggles. Game winner. A lot of predictions coming down from a lot of these players, showing they're not going to go down without a fight, but a huge couple of tags. Shield's going to be dropped, and there's his teammate trying to alleviate some of that pressure. I think it's worked for a few couple of seconds, but now for Larry and his duo, the decision has to be made. With the amount of damage they just put out, is this worth the resources, especially since they both zoned all the way on the north side of the map.
Now let's not forget those big headshots. They're a huge setback for Mars OW as he has to put down the big heals, and there it is. You can see it all coming through. Will he go ahead and finish it off? Yes, he does. All right, so now back to square one. A little bit on the back foot here. They're deciding if they want to take the fight. Probably not. We know there's a much more passive team. They're going to be defensive in every opportunity that they get first. But of course, we know Surge is an ever-pending, issue, of course. And you see the flare gun coming out into good use there. Full scans. On the other side, Felix and Sparebolt, some of the most veteran teams here in the lobby. They've made so many appearances in weeks like Surge Weeks. They've had the experience of solidifying here in the past.
He would be in this tournament.
I love his mindset, especially from that interview, saying we can go ahead and win and qualify through 2 different conditions. The game win that everybody's going to be fighting for, or that top 5. So everybody should be playing to win naturally, but at least they have it in the back of their head that if things do go wrong, they can have some sort of backup strategy at least underneath their sleeve.
You won't even get nothing.
Let's see what Snake and Mega here.
I just want to watch it.
Big slam, potentially onto Stacky and Nox. Now remember, these are 2 very, very experienced duos here. Competition runs deep for both. They've been in so many final style settings. For Snake and Mega, they're some of the most trusted. Snake's just looking though, trying to see if he can find an opportunity going to get inside there. Things are going to turn a bit, but this is a huge ambush.
And you can see them taking their time. Patience is definitely key in a situation like this. Mega and Snake have a combined 20 FNCS final appearance. Tied for second most here in the lobby. You know exactly when to attack, when to go in with a couple shots, playing a little bit of a distraction. Snake just trying to add a little more to his repertoire in terms of rotation. You see him opting to go for that kinetic blade with 3 charges. More is always better.
Hey, we'll take the extra charges. That's always going to come in handy. Here's On1 and Zypha, very explosive duo, but On1 almost isolated in between this duo here that has several angles to work on him. I do wonder, do they know
what is he doing?
Inside the building? Probably.
Man, you might want to scooch because I want to watch it.
No, On1, door open, lurking nearby. Opens onto Curly. Okay, great tag. Not a big one. Maybe not exactly what he was looking for, but the piece control comes in from down low. Curly does an excellent job playing defensively. Now he's got his back against the wall. Oh, look at this, dude. Working.
Using it as a distraction. As soon as On1 shot that shot, you see Curly and his alarm. He went and centered himself. Zypha just trying to go for the sneak attack with a 2v1 over on the other
I
side.
moved
Really
right
doing
there
such a
because that
great
kid was in my
job
way.
taking control of the pieces, but immediately as he knew that Zypha ran away, he turns around to try to help Nerf. Playing in the same box in close proximity from your duo is huge and important in a lot of these fights.
Well, On1's built a great reputation of being able to finish these fights and do it successfully without taking damage. So far, he's been the one on the high ground, just really looking in, trying to see if he can go ahead and find that explosive opener. Nothing just yet. There it is, the first tag. Just a little trade-off here, but the zone's coming in. The pressure's on now. Here comes the ticking clock.
On1 trying to use that big pot. He knows the fight's inevitable. They don't want to let all their resources they expended up until this point to go to waste. On1, he's played in the FNCS Invitational. He wants to return to that global stage. And step one to get to that stage is qualify here through Surge Week. Step number two, if he does qualify, is going to play through the FNCS Grand Finals, and top 3 teams get into that global championship at the end of the year.
Oh, Curly barely there with a
What?
beat there, hits the slurp, or the fish there in the final moments, the flopper to keep him alive. That was almost all over. The tournament run could have dropped there for just a moment. But there goes the reset. They realize, yeah, there's much more danger than just On1 and Zypha sitting above us. There's a team in the distance, so
I'm going
that's
to
going
watch
to
this
cost
thing
you
for like an
material.
hour, for a
Here
couple
comes
minutes.
Big flare shot. Okay, so they have all the attention they need, but yeah, like you said, Jacob, material probably a little more important right now.
What makes it so hard for them, Zypha just doesn't have mobility. So even though On1 does have that ODM gear, it's going to be hard for them to disengage as a team. But luckily enough, that team right below, they spread up, they go different directions, and I think that could be a great play for them, unless somebody does go down, because it makes them focus on 2 different targets. And look at the distance they've already covered in that short time, as Paper and Caesar are trying to cover distance of their own mind. That's why he gets the tag up towards the sky. Doesn't look like his duo is anywhere in sight, so he needs to be careful if he keeps trying to ODM away, because if he gets tagged up with enough elevation, he will take ball damage.
Notice what Paper's doing, playing for that extreme high ground.
Yo,
It's going to cost even more material.
For
Parts is on the run right now. And look at this, it's just cutting through all of the mats there. Yeah, you can run, but you can't hide. That's a full shield crack there. Excellent for Paper. Now, mind you, Paper just coming off of eliminating Mars, OW, and crew there.
1 minute.
And we do get to see those highlights there, Jacob. I mean, you have to imagine the Paper right now. He's feeling pretty good. Look at the ambush here. Let's thought he was safe with the wide outskirt rotate, but no, sir. They got collapsed on.
I like this right here between Paper and Caesar, though, because immediately as they saw it was a player separated from his team, they pounced like lions on a piece of meat in the safari. That's something that you really need to take note of in a situation like this, is the advantages you have in a lot of these fights. You have to take them, because sometimes when you take too long, when those opportunities go right out the window.
That's right. For Swirl and Aoxy right now, they're very much comfortable here, just outside the brutal bastion, but let's just get caught up. How did they find the eliminations? They have control of the Bolt right now, and here goes the full fight. Made it look nice and easy. Walk on through, 160s for the follow-up, and then the 120 there. And what a play for Swirl here. Didn't even need his teammate to back him up. No distraction there from Aoxy. He literally caught the 2-piece. And we'll check in and a catch-up from the Mega City Sentinel. And Fab's down, has to get picked up here.
From one vault to another, you can see what the impact it's going to do. And in week 3, in their miracle run, Fabs in game number 6 had a huge heroic save to bring Sentinel back. And Sentinel's like, now it's my turn. This is only game number 1, but he has no time to give on up as Noxie's getting cornered. Mew and Wooten are trying to go ahead and pounce while the iron is hot, and they do almost immediately take out another player. The thing that I kind of noticed at a lot of these loadouts, though, is the lack of actual HP heals that might come into use later on in the game.
That's right. Take a look at D-Roller now. We get to jump in action over here. It's just fights everywhere. Jackson, D-Roller, a team that we can absolutely see push their way through, either through consistency or victory royales today. Very experienced here. Ideal loadout in hand. ODM gear. Big legendary slurp juice on hand. Big pots as well for the rotates. This beautiful Cardi actually finds potentially Fabs in the feed. So that tells us a story in full there. All right. That's how that all unfolded. D-Roller's slide back. Now he heard the pickup happen, and yes, looks for the full elimination. He's just a tag away now.
Yeah, without even knowing and seeing it, that's just probably exactly what did happen to Fab as well, with Scented going for that reboot. It's one of those risk-reward scenarios to where, yeah, you need your teammate back into the game, but at the same time, if the reboot goes off, it's like a giant alarm in the sky saying, hey, look at us, we're trying to make a game-saving play. But luckily enough, with Fabs going down 2 times in this game, Scented still keeping this show on the road. Really interesting to how he plays this one out going for the weapons cache, though, because another team here in this lobby is granted that same cache, and it's worth fighting for, especially at this stage in the game.
Yeah, he's a solo right now, right? So he kind of has to go ahead and fight for this one. Now, we did just quite literally tune in with Fab getting picked up. Cardi was there in the distance. Patek alongside. Quick knock and a finish. ODM gear to slide on in, get the conclusion on that one. And that book in story is closed and done. There's a true veteran. I'm sure there's plenty rooting for the good old Clarity G in Caster here. This is you know, truly excellent and exceptional duo right here. Chances are they'll be in finals next week.
I'm pretty sure like a lot of us are surprised they're even in Surge Week this week. So I gotta agree with you there. One of the teams I believe that could play through both consistency and that win scenario with Rift Island Spawn. You see so many teams all around, particularly Sprite and Giants towards the top. They're trying to claim it as their own. They're going to get a bunch of hills, but more importantly, the overclock pulse rifles. They deal so much damage in an instant. You heard Kelly break it down, almost 230 a second without aiming down sights.
Well, if you are just tuning in, this is game 1 of North America, the full merge of NA East and West.
Hey, just on Spawn Island. Look how we all thought that team was Travis Scott.
As all these
we all thought that was
players
Travis
now
Scott.
basically changing the pacing of the region, the style of gameplay. You have these players that were once considered effectively creative warriors.
Yeah, we all thought that was Travis Scott, though.
Box fighters jumping onto the NA region, and now it all happens here. But Paper and Shadow, this is a very interesting duo, of course.
Bro,
start to pair up here, both of which have had their own individual success.
Only a couple streamers are filming this.
Much more years
are
of
actually really filming.
Shadow, one of the newer, younger players to go and find this little bit of success over the last, I would say, year and a half or so. He started to have his meteoric rise and finds himself amongst the best of the best now.
Yep, fighting through the first 3 weeks. You know, they land over towards Shattered Slabs. You tell by the vault loot alone what their kind of game plan is going into this one. One elimination, and the biggest difference between the first 3 weeks and this one is it's now 4 points per eliminations instead of the 2 players were granted before. So it's definitely more of a high risk, high reward when it comes to those eliminations.
Well, it's not just experience on this duo, it's also FNCS previous champion in Jock here, sitting alongside Qua, an extremely talented player. They're right next to the West Demons on one. Zypha, who's sitting right above them, so not a safe box by any means. Slacks a nut here, go for a quick pick, and you take a lot of damage.
Yeah, this lobby is stacked. I've never seen so many superstars in one Surge Week alone, so I'm going to have to go out and throw it on over to Jenny so she can give us a lay of the land of all the teams here today.
Thank you, Jacob. Yes, as we can see, Nut and Slack are doing a great job getting those surge tags. We had Nut making sure they were completely prepared with tons of heals and materials, and then building up and just getting all of those surge tags and preparing themselves for endgame.
All right, appreciate you, Jenny. Thank you for the catch up there. It really gives us the insight, right? The full scope of what is going on right now.
Do y'all see the goal I got?
Over to Zypha and on one. The big rotates here now more than ever as it become easy to get from point A to point B. But
who would
that also
even
means that there are teams situated there.
Like
just take a look at the map.
You know, below here.
Although you see everyone skating across, you also see folks
I
looking out.
personally,
The big
I
bases
would not do that chat.
Eyeing out
you have to
all
watch
the players right now.
You got to be careful. The zone continues to pull towards the western side, north part of the map. For all those teams congested towards the south, you got to watch out to not get a little greedy for any play because you could become the focus. Felix and Sparrow, they're dead center in the middle of the map to where 3 teams are already stacked up. And you have to watch out because more players are going to begin to kind of third party, fourth party, fifth party sneak in some shots, and Siren and Noisy are going to be one of those. They find a quick tag onto Mars, taking him down, and the show keeps going. They're just bulldozing from one player to the next.
For the second time now, we get to see Mars get completely finished, and that looks like that's the run over for him and his duo there. Siren and Noisy are what's left here. Now pushing on to Sparebow
They're
and
actually cracked.
Felix,
Chat.
one of the most competent Fortnite players that we have had compete, especially here today in the Surge Week. Fun fact about Sparebow and Felix, they've actually been playing with one another for almost 4 years as a duo. One of the few teams that have been playing with one another for so long. So this is a scary situation. You have such an experience with a team that's so comfortable with one another. Tons of experience, even in settings like this, the biggest stages. And that is the competition for Siren and Noisy. So defense looks good here. They find the tags they need. They can rotate if they want, but taking their time. They're trying to see, can we convert here?
Trying to take control of those pieces. That is exactly right by the loot. About half materials. He's not in the worst position when it comes to those, but he definitely wants more. And whatever heals are left over there as well, he is missing 50 shields. Mega Snake boxed up against Paper and Shadow for the target of a team that a few paces nearby, and that's them. They're trying to use that to their own advantage. They're under pressure. When is the perfect time to go for a sneak attack? A Shadow knows they're there. He's playing as defensive as possible with him and Paper, but you can see with the shields being lacked on a Paper, it only leads me to believe they need heals. They need something to keep them going.
What's crazy about this is Shadow took down Scented. Scented had all the heals that he needed to survive as a solo, but look at this. They get collapsed on, and that is the pressure, the looming pressure. Mega and Snake make quick work of Paper. Paper's down, but Shadow slides out the side there. They get the attention of a duo off in the distance, and now Snake's trying to wrangle out for this loot. Can he go ahead and secure it? Hard to tell as they are dead center, so it's not like it's a rush to get to the loot, but they don't, of course, want Shadow to come in and steal it all away. But look at Shadow. It's a huge shot onto Snake, and the respect is earned.
That's massive there. The high risk, high reward that we're talking about. Mega and Snake playing that one close to perfection to try to sneak up and use that third party as their opportunity to strike. And they go ahead and get the eliminations and the loot for their own as Punisher and Costa. This is big right here because out of the season so far throughout the first 2 weeks,
go AFK.
VRs came
I'm actually gonna watch
so
it.
this is a big
This person right here looks like
they have the loot. They have the heal. They have the kinetic plays. They have everything they need. They just need to be able to execute and win this game.
Costa and Punisher seemingly going from the slums to the high rises as they have found themselves in a pretty optimal position.
I'm gonna go check on these other people.
And everything else.
Wow, that is... These kids are disrespectful. Wow.
Shots coming in.
These kids are lame.
Unexpected.
They're really not watching this.
It's okay.
Why would they even join this? They're literally supposed to be the one thing people are supposed to do is watch.
They pull zone. They waste no time to invest in material.
Wow, I cannot believe that.
I love this.
I love might actually have to go. Yeah, they do.
Jock was leading the charge, just trying to get
chill
them
out.
to
You got a
spot.
school.
Quaz just trying to get more surge because 62, that's above. You got a layer of safety that you don't have to worry about for a few seconds, but they are some experts in the lobby. We talk about experience. They are just as experienced as some of the other teams. They know 62 is absolutely nothing. It's not a feeling of comfortability. It's just kind of a warning that, hey, I gotta start getting active yet again.
It's crazy to see them playing for high ground as well. They could have easily opted to stay, in any kind of low box base with a cone above them, completely defended there and protected, but no, they're peering out in the distance. That's probably going to be a team that will just cycle up right, as we like to say, and play for the dub right now.
I'm just oohing and on because the loot that he just picked up, thanks to this elimination here. You see Aoxy already down. Thrill's doing the best that he can to try to hold on to the pieces. It goes for a little cheeky shot to take out both Jackson and D-Roller. He did have the Mythic Havoc pump, but it just was not enough in a 2v1 situation. They go down. The loot changes hand yet again. That has to be at least the third time I've seen it in this game alone, that vault loot is changing hands time to time.
Well, it's not just the zone or the loot changing hands, it's also the zone. The zone goes from north, pulls hard down south now as well, so most of the lives are going to find themselves safe here, but Justice and Gear get dropped and finished off by Redux and Nexi. Redux, who we just saw under extreme pressure from Punisher and Costa there, they've managed to turn all odds in their favor. Watch the rotate here. Of course, the Kinetic Blade makes this nice and easy for them. Redux takes a lot of damage here on the move, but they have plenty to go ahead and get them back into a winning position here.
Pretty calm zone for now, but the next one is the one that might prove to be a little drastic depending on where it does pull. And that's why I always stress about the importance of proactivity, gathering the information. Next to Redux, just putting pressure and shots down on so many other teams. And with that Shadow Tracker pistol, it's spotting players out for a number of seconds, so that way the information that they're able to keep, they're able to deal with it a lot longer.
Well, here we have it. It's all or nothing now. The end game has slowly encroached upon us, and all that matters now is get this win here. Of course, if you made it this far, you've probably earned yourself a fair amount of points. The points is good. The win's even better. You want to go directly
I'm not going to be talking
here and now.
I am not going to be talking. I'm just going to be watching the game.
Putting big tags down. He needs much more there.
So make sure you hit that sub button if you want to see more of these. Reacting to it and
popping that first of his 2 slurp juices. 152. No sense of stability here. Looking up, looking everywhere, but nobody is peeking. That's the thing here on Surge Week. Once you get later and later into these games, the importance is there as the zone pulls south. There's a couple of different elevation changes before we finally settle on the side of a mountain. So if you're not ready for this one, I feel sorry for you. Saucy is still looking for shots with Edward. Wavy Jacob gets tagged up through the sky, but it's still not enough. 64 below the threshold. Now they have to move while still having that in the back of their mind.
This is like a bad dream that's hard to wake up from. Tossing and turning there, and they continue to just battle their way through. About 10 players or so will have to continue to fold over and get eliminated, so it's not over yet. Qua and Jock find themselves front side of zone. That's exactly where the vets want to be. Low ground as well. Wait for them to go and opt into this one, not going for the high ground win strategy, but they do know there are teams poising up for it. A little bit of elevation here gives a bigger decision to make, but again, D-Roller goes down low as well. A lot of teams with a lot of material are playing this low ground here. It's going to pull all the way on down to the valley into the anvil. It's the best spot to be. Edward still fighting the surge here, but no, finally he ends up being collapsed here. On height, though, it's Giants and Sprite.
This is their chance. Overclock pulse rifles in hand. The pressure that they're already putting down, it's only been a few seconds, but Sprite knows I have to go for that loot. I cannot maintain my high ground position without some material to work with. As Zone continues to push them in, they're pushing teams down. High ground taken again as Costa zooms through the sky, trying to give him and Punisher a layer above all that madness that is on the low ground.
What a game this is for Costa already. 6 healers for him. Punisher has a big one, too. That's 7 here already, with 30 other opponents just about left in the lobby here. D-Roller and Jackson, one of the few teams to opt into full low ground with heavy material, are slowly tunneling their way through, but the heavy mats are just about over. On the front side, it's Clarity G and Casker who is leading this rotate, but they have no material. They're going to have to turn and burn on any opponents now. This is the last chance. D-Roller's in front of them, a random chest in front of them is going to yield them just a little bit more. That's nice.
3 pieces of metal. Clarity got 3 pieces of metal to work with the kinetic blade, though. Just waiting for the zone to catch up. Sprite and Giant still putting down so much pressure. Qua and Jock, they're living on that layer right in the middle, trying to make sure that they are not the main focus, but with the kinetic blade, they zoom through. Qua takes a couple of shots. Flashes are going to have to be expended. Costa with mythic munitions lands a perfect shot on one. They get sent back to the lobby. There's not a ton of resources being spread around, though.
Oh, Clarity G is left by himself, though. He loses Casker to the side of the zone there, finished off by Snake, and now he sees all the opponents in front of him, but the zone bounces back. Okay, a little bit of Lady Fortune and luck on his side here for Costa and Punisher, though. They have got so many eliminations worth in just a single game to kick things off. The momentum's on their side. Even if a win is not going to happen here, I mean, the points they've earned is excellent. Costa falls first. It's Qua there with the big shot to greet him. The siphon comes through, and that is welcome for Jack and Qua.
That's just a huge shot for Qua. No builds, though. Trying to go and gain whatever he can, but he gets tagged up from the side into the top 7 as Jock is trying to make this solo run go as far as he possibly can. 58 points. He's trying to stagger himself back. He finds the Menvis. This is for sure a possibility. Clarity trying to do the same. First shot's going to get landed. That's Kimzo who goes down. Clarity with the refresh, trying to get the siphon for the map. This is huge for Clarity and a successful run here in the end game.
Well, I hope you didn't count him out. Z is turning online right now. Small condition here. Does he time the med kit on time? We will find out. Give him 7 seconds here. Scoped and Mason. Hope you didn't forget about them either. They're on the low ground, still alive. Very, very healthy, but the material count pretty low. Clarity does get the med kit off. Swings back around. Sees the team below him. Gets material as well. He can continue to hold out here. The decision now is to go down. He's got no other chances here. The floor gets opened up. He sees an opponent. Toes are shown, and Mason finds the first. Down comes Giants and Sprite, and they're here to finish out the game. Scope's going to fall there, but he needs to find the body. Otherwise, Mason will win the game, and Mason sits back and takes that one home.
There were absolutely no heals on our top 7 teams. All but Mason, who goes to the backside of zone. Just make sure to keep their games alive. They have now qualified to the FNCS Major 2 Grand Finals.
Well, listen, I dropped the video. I was asking for action, and it looks like we got it. That one went to the final moments there. Scope and Mason really pull through. We get to jump in here where they had already 3 eliminations, but then they start cleaning up house in the end there, and that was the fatal error from Giants. He just missed Scope's down body, which would have gave him a little bit more time.
Yeah, just the timing, exactly what you said. Sprite and Giants needed a few more seconds down to the low ground, fighting tooth and nail because they had no heals, but they had those overclock pulse rifles. I think with game number 1 done, second game, they're definitely going to learn their lesson.
Well, congratulations to Mason and Scope. Game 1 is wraps. That's of 5. It's happening quickly here. Let's catch up with Z.
Thank you guys so much. My gosh, Mason comes out clutch here, saving those vital kills. And that's actually what the player that joined us, Sparrow, at the beginning of the show talked.
Exactly, and he's not just like taking those all the way into the end game. We tuned in right there with some of those highlights. They had so many eliminations, finding them on the low ground, and that was pretty much key to them being able to be in a position to actually win this game. Claiming that front side of low ground, finding the opportune moments to get those shots in, and then pick up those refreshes, find the heals from other players, allowed Mason to carry all of these heals all the way into the end game. Just simply outlive the opponents.
And I love that you used the word position there, because we could see Mason taking that position on the downward side of the hill, being able to peek onto where his opponent could potentially come in so that he would get the first shot off. And there we have a look at these guys scoped. Well, it looks like that's going to change.
Yeah, this is the one, right? Remember, Victory Out will send you and your duo straight to Grand Finals. No questions asked, while everyone else is playing for the Victory Out or that consistency coming in that top 5. This is huge for this duo now because they're just looking at like, hey, 4 games. I'm good, man. I'm going to go play some Arena later.
Yeah, absolutely gone. I mean, we've known Scope for a very, very long time now. One of the best controller regions on the region, so no surprise to see him there. But let me tell you something. They got the victory out, but look at the lead that Sprite and Giants have created already. Find themselves first place, 88 points. And I was actually watching this duo pretty much throughout that entire game. They played almost flawlessly when it came to all of those rotates. 6th, 7th, 8th zone. It was actually really, really crazy. We saw them bounce back and forth, north, south, south. The kinetic blade usage out of that duo, though, phenomenal.
Another duo that I was watching was definitely Qua and Jack right there, using that kinetic blade to get a little bit of height, see where the rest of the lobby was, and then finding the perfect position to put themselves in. There was a moment in, I think it was zone 10 or zone 11, where they saw that there was so much congestion to the left side of where they wanted to go, that they actually used their second kinetic blade shot to go to the right side where it was a lot less congested. And then they did it once again, where they used the kinetic blade, they're used to going onto the low ground, but instead they saw that the low ground was chaotic, so they built into the mid ground instead. Such smart plays coming out of this duo right here.
So the pivotal, part of the game right there was actually that refresh that they found on that mid ground. It's really, really important to kind of have like set plays for your duo, right? Who's going to break the wall? Who's going to go for the cone placement? And they kind of executed that one flawlessly. Also, when it comes down to making these edits, letting your duo know, hey, this edit is coming. Both of them ready for the shot right there. They just kept finding refreshes on the mid ground and pretty much just carried them into that late game.
Yeah. And they're already treating this like Grand Finals, right? These are Grand Finals movements they're taking. So saying, we may not need the victory out. Let's play for that consistent. Let's treat this like we're at that level, right, Kelly?
Well, they need to be. And a lot of the things that people don't look at, although, yes, you don't want to be in this position where you are in Surge Week. There's a possibility you don't get to make it. This is also an incredible opportunity for these players to practice for when they do go into Grand Finals.
Absolutely. Another duo, really quickly, Thoric Bolts. I feel like we've been talking about these guys a lot here on the NA region. but now they're finding themselves in Surge Week. But
Can you watch my stream?
Also in third place, Vivid.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually like a big storyline here to follow, right? Finding themselves in Surge Week. This is, of course, the reigning NA West FNCS champions. The last ones actually on that region, now combined NA region. They have to show up, right? They have to be like, hey, listen, NA West, we can compete with the best. They have to make sure they make it into grand finals if they want a chance to go ahead and defend that title. But so far, game number 1, it's looking very, very good for them. The thing that I like the most about this duo right now is how much control they're finding around themselves on their mid-ground layer, the one that they select.
I think a part of their success, too, was that mythic munition, one of the augments that used to be taken out of the game, now back into it, and we can see how much damage that pistol does.
Absolutely. Can't forget Costa, Punisher, and of course Punisher has that Sancho West guarantee. For them to be able to hold that top 5 at the end of the day would be huge for the duo.
You know, this duo is going to be contested, and as you can see right here, already 5 eliminations on Costa. They actually tied the most with Sprite and Giants for eliminations in this game. This duo getting 8 as well. I mean, 7 on them on Costa. We are going to have to make sure that we keep an eye on him throughout the day, because the eliminations that he is getting right now, especially considering that they are 4 points each, might just carry them in the grand finals.
Something I saw a little interesting was the double movement that we saw on Costa there. He had a kinetic blade and he had the ODM gear. Now that did mean he didn't have a slot available for heals. We saw they only had the small pots available, which might have been part of their downfall and the reason that we didn't see them higher in placements. But when you're grabbing that many eliminations, who needs placement points?
Yeah, again, treat it like your grand finals, right? You don't have to worry about the victory out, because at that point, the victory out doesn't matter as much. But here in Surge Week, it is so vital. It will give those duos that may not be in that top 5 that second fighting chance for grand finals.
Hey, I'm not.
We're gonna have,
but still watching. Once I end this stream, still watch it for at least 38 more minutes. 38 more minutes. So peace out.